cost side of that Parker shows us it's also taking a toll on the bottom line for some small business owners.
Hey there, YouTube. How you doing? Last night I made a post on Facebook that I had been canning bacon and stuff for the evening and had several days worth of canning meat to do. And one of my friends posted she had never heard of canning bacon before, so I told her I'd do a little video on how to can bacon along with some of the other stuff that I'm doing.
And gas prices rising. Everything is going up quite a bit. Midwest travels going forward. More than half of all U.S. counties are now designated primary disaster areas, while that trouble may seem far away from the...
So I'm going to break this down into a series of several videos, but I just wanted to address the fact, first of all, that, you know, I had thought yesterday that since the news was talking about the price of food will probably be going up a little bit this fall, more than normal due to the droughts and the fires out in the Midwest, and the corn prices going up so high, that I thought, well, I'm going to go on and make a big prepper trip. That's what I call it, where about once every few months I go and I just buy in bulk huge amounts, and then that way the rest of the time all I got to do is just go do little pop-in grocery store runs, like for a gallon of milk or something. So I thought, well, I'm going to go on and do my big fall prep run now. And what I found was that the prices were already up from my last trip, which was only 3 weeks ago. And the prices had gone up on some things just a few cents, you know, to $1, 5–10%. Some things, however, were a huge market increase. But I'm going to give you one example. I love to get these cans of pork. They come in a pack of 4, and each can is, well, 12 ounces. And if it's just me and Mike, it's enough for the two of us with some gravy and potatoes and stuff. But if we have friends or family over, I'll open 2, 3, or 4 of these cans. Well, the problem was yesterday when I went into the store, I wanted to get some more of these 4 cans. Now, as you can see, they're bigger than a can of tuna, but they're no bigger than a can of, like, you know, chicken breast or something like that. So they're small cans. And these 4 cans yesterday would have cost me $19.99. That's $5 a can for 4 cans of just a few forkfuls of pork. So switched around my shopping, what I thought I was going to do. Yeah, I thought I was going to buy a bunch of canned meat and some canned vegetables and things like that. And what I wound up doing instead was buying actual meat, and now I'm processing all the meat down myself into my own cans. And I'm just going to be going through that a little bit with you over these next couple of videos, so you can see how much money I wound up being able to save. And the price is already going up, why it's so important that if you have the ability to do these things, you should do them. It's really important right now for us to take our $1 and make it spend like $5 instead of taking $1 and make it spend like a quarter. So I hope some of these videos will help you out with your prepping. Please feel free to send me comments, questions, or if there's anything you would like to see me do a video on while you hear me talking about things that I'm doing, just let me know. We're going to be canning bacon, we're going to be canning pork, beef, dehydrating potatoes, and fruits. I've got so much. Oh, and I'm doing beans. Okay, guys, the very first basic simple step, and I know a lot of you, this is old hat, but a lot of my friends are just now starting to do canning, so I want to make sure that I don't miss a single step. The very first simple plain step is to remove your jars and bands, or your lids and bands from your jars, and take the lids and put them into a pot of water on the stove. Now the reason that we're doing this is because, especially since we're dealing with meat, I think it's more important than if you're canning tomatoes or something. These red rubber pieces inside the lid, whenever we heat the water up and heat these up, this softens and it creates a stronger seal whenever we pack the lid down onto the end product. And you really want to be careful when you're doing the bacon, because the grease, when the bacon's cooking, if the grease comes up and comes up along these ridges, you're not going to get a good seal, especially if you started with a cold lid that had no seal to start with. Okay, I've got all my lids and bands removed. My lids are in here, so I'm going to turn the flame on to heat this water up while I'm packing my jars. Now, I'm not sure how many of these jars I'm going to use. Depends on the bacon usage here, but I've got 5 standard packs of bacon that I have opened up and ready to go. And we're just going to start one at a time, putting the raw bacon straight into the jar. And we're going to fill these jars up. There's 2 pieces, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6. And you want to make sure that as you're packing it in there, you kind of pack it down. Yesterday I did the small little jars, like jelly jars. They held 4 or 5 slices of bacon, which would be perfect for morning breakfast for 2 people. And I'll show you the results of that in a minute, and how that would work. But for now, I ran out of my jelly jars, so I got to get a little bit bigger. But the big thing to remember about canning bacon is that in a scenario where you can't get to the store, power's down, food's not being delivered, whatever the scenario is, grease to cook with and flavoring items are going to be more difficult to come across, and they're going to be more important to have. So want to make sure that you don't have to worry about refrigeration, which you don't once you do this. And at the same time, now you've got cooking grease if you need it, or you know, it's Thanksgiving, you want to do a green bean casserole. Perfect for that. So I'm packing my bacon in, and I'm bringing it just about to that rim, the standard location on the rim that you would use basically cooking about anything right there. I'm not putting any water or anything else in there. We've got all but 3 slices of a full pack of bacon in that one jar. So this isn't going to take too many jars using these pint sizes like this. And, you know, I remember when I was a kid, my father's family, his mother and father, and his sisters and brothers and everybody, they're from a coal mining town, state border town between West Virginia and Ohio. And Grandma never worked a day out of the house, but her and Pa survived the Depression, among many other things, and just in general having a large family. Pa, obviously, he had a good job. He was a coal miner for a long time. He was in the Army prior to that. But Grandma, her basement was so awesome. From her kitchen, you could walk down into the basement, which is what she considered to be her pantry. And there was probably 3 years worth of food down there, on top of potatoes and onions that she had just pulled from her own garden that year. But she canned and saved everything. And the beautiful thing that I have found about being what a lot of people label as a prepper is that just about anything I'm in the mood to eat now, I've got the food for it. I've got the ingredients. And I make up things that I never had before because I've got so many awesome ingredients. So it's fun more than anything. A lot of people, they prep because they're freaked out, you know, scared to death. You know, I have to say that Jericho storm really did kind of slap me around a little bit. But I prep because while my children were young, I struggled to have grocery money. My husband worked very hard, and you know, it was tough. So we lived on the very basics. And once I got myself in a position where I realized that by buying things in bulk and preparing and looking ahead for tomorrow, I was able to really expand the horizons of what I have available, what I can eat, my taste varieties, all of that, and it's a comfort level. I did not panic and freak out whenever I found us both in a jobless situation here recently. So I think that just the peace of mind of knowing that just like when that storm came through last month, you know, there were people up and down our road that were freaking out. You know, they needed to go stay at hotels, or they were going to stay with family and friends because they didn't have any of the resources that they needed to survive. And for us, it was just like we were camping. We just basically went and camped out in the backyard and cooked on the grill and took our showers in the creek water, and it actually made a really good time of it. So I really feel good that I can do things like this right here, knowing that I don't have to worry about the power going out now. The power is a beautiful, wonderful thing, and I never want to lose it again. But if I do, I'm going to be just fine. I might be ticked off, I might be bored, but I'm going to be surviving, and I'm going to be eating well. So, with that being said, we're getting close on this bacon here. So far I've got 2, 4, 6, I'm on jar number 7. A couple of these I can pack down a little bit tighter. I've been running my mouth. But I want to thank Bear Prepper. If you haven't gone to her channel before, please do. I have learned so much from this woman over the course of the time. She is, gosh, she's who I wish would be my aunt, you know, or a cousin or something. She's just awesome. She knows how to do a little bit of everything, and if she doesn't know, she figures it out. And she has really taught me a lot. It's pronounced Bear Prepper, but it's actually spelled B-E-X-A-R Prepper. So check out her channel if you haven't done so already. Now this one's going to make me sad. I don't have enough in this leftover at the end of the bacon pack to do anything with, so I'm going to try to shove a little bit more down in some of these jars, because I don't want to ever waste another slice of bacon. Bacon is so darn wonderful. I think that whenever God was figuring out everything about how he was going to build our worlds for us to live in, I think he said, you know, the best thing I got going that I can give these people is bacon. And number 2 is ham. So, I'm going to have to pause for a second, wash my hands and stuff, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, next important step. I've got a paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe down the edges of these jars and get any bacon grease or scraggles of dust or anything that may have accumulated off of that. And I don't know if you can see or not, but the lids are starting to come to a little bit of a boil. I don't want to melt the darn thing, but turn that heat down a little bit. So we're just going to dry these edges off like this. Alright. I'm going to take a fork. I'm going to just lift the lid out, set it there. Get that band tightened down. And then I'm going to be good to go for the next one. Okay, I've got my jars sealed. Again, there's no water added. It's just the bacon straight into the jar. You know how whenever you're making bacon in the frying pan, all that bacon grease? And I'm just going to set my jars down in the can. I'm not sure if you can really see too well in here, but I like to have almost an inch of water above the tops of my cans. Some people, it varies a little bit, but these are kind of floating around a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on there. I might have too much air in some of these. We're gonna find out. And I am going to set my lid here, lock it down, and turn on the flame. And I'm not going to start the flame up too high. I'm actually going to put it somewhere around medium heat for now, and let everything kind of warm up together. Okay guys, I'm going to just kind of let this get up to about 11-12 pounds of pressure. Once the steam starts coming out and the pressure starts rising, I'll start watching it. If I need to turn the heat back some to hold it at that, I will. But I'm going to cook these jars of bacon for about an hour and 15 minutes at around 11-12 pounds of pressure. Pressure might not need to be quite that high, but I just like to make sure. But just to show you the end product, this is what I canned yesterday. So this is, I hope you can see this, this is a can of 4 or 5 slices of bacon. And you see my grease rolling around in there? If I want to eat it as actual strips of bacon, what I can do is just pop the can open and slide it all onto a skillet, fry it up. It's like, at that point, it's kind of like, it's just not crisped. That's all. It's cooked, but it's not crisp. But what's really vital to me in these jars is the grease, because the bacon itself will be preserved. I can fry that up later, but if I want to pull out the grease and save it, at that point I can do so, and I don't have to worry about a refrigerator. Isn't that awesome? So these little jelly jars are really perfect for those cans where you want to be able to fry up 4 or 5 slices of bacon for breakfast, or where you want to do like a green bean casserole. These bigger jars that I'm doing, my preference would have been to have done another couple dozen of this size, but I'll just have to make bacon a bigger ingredient in whatever I'm cooking at that time. So if you have any questions, I hope you'll let me know, and I'm going to go on and get this video uploaded and get started working on the next one. Again, like I said, I got beans and roast and big old pork loins. I'm excited to see what all I get out of this. I probably don't have enough cans left. So anyway, you guys have a good afternoon. Take care and enjoy it while you can.